So I just asked AI a really interesting question. I was just doing some work, and I just decided to ask AI, like, how does your brain create new neurons? Okay, and this is going to be a video just sharing with you guys the things that I'm interested in and the things that I'm learning more about, what's more important to learn about than your own self, to know thyself, right? And it's kind of like encapsulating my whole experience right now in my life. I'm 29 years old now, and a lot of the things that would have greatly increased the quality of my life, I'm now having to self-discover it. And a lot of these things deal with mental health, depression, things revolving around that. So what a time that we live in now, where we can have all this information at our fingertips, because a lot of us are not taught this very basic things that would vastly improve the quality of your life. So I asked AI, like, how does the brain create new neurons? And if you don't know what neurons are literally the synapses of the, okay, how do I put this in layman terms? Like, to try to explain it. No, I'm not gonna try to explain it. I'm gonna have AI explain it. Okay, what are brain neurons? Explain as if I'm 5 years old. All right? Okay, so it says, imagine your brain is a big, busy city, and the people in the city are called brain cells or neurons. They're like little superheroes with special powers. Yo, AI be giving some crazy. On second thought, I don't know, because they give some crazy examples, but I'm gonna just keep going with this. So it says, the people in the city are called brain cells or neurons. They're like little superheroes with special powers. Some neurons help you run and play, others help you think and learn new things, like how to draw a picture or sing a song. And there are neurons that help you feel happy, sad, or angry. All the neurons work together to make you amazing. They're like friends who help each other do cool stuff. Would you like to know what happens when neurons talk to each other? Okay. Basically what I got from this, you are your neurons, okay? Like, your neurons are responsible for the thoughts that you have, the feelings that you feel, and so much more. And I'm gonna dive deeper into this. I just want to give like a basic upfront explanation in a simple manner what brain neurons are, right? But the question I asked AI was like, you know, what is the importance of neurogenesis, which is the creation of new neurons? No, that's not the, I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead. That wasn't the initial question. The initial question was, how does your brain create new neurons? No, actually, yeah. So I said the importance of neurogenesis. So the birth of new neurons, basically how your brain creates new neurons, is learning and memory. The first bullet point it gave us was learning and memory. New neurons are believed to play a vital role in forming new memories and learning new information. They help create new neural connections, which are essential for cognitive function. Okay, that's the first bullet. The second one just really got me really interested. The second bullet point on why neurogenesis, aka learning new things, is important, because there is a strong correlation between neurogenesis and mood regulation. So the second point they give us is mood regulation. Neurogenesis is linked to mood regulation. Reduced neurogenesis has been associated with depression, while increased neurogenesis is linked to improved mood. Brain plasticity. The ability of the brain to adapt and change is called plasticity. Neurogenesis contributes significantly to this plasticity, allowing the brain to recover from injuries or adapt to new experiences. And then the last bullet point, it gave us potential for disease treatment. Understanding neurogenesis is crucial for developing treatments for neurodegenerative diseases such as Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, where neuron loss is primary factor. So if you guys don't know that, if you guys didn't know that, Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's is literally the disease where you lose neurons. It's a neurodegenerative disease. Okay, so where are we going with this? Maybe some of you are smart enough, you're catching on, and some of you are a little bit behind, which is fine. There's no judgment here. So then if you are the ones that are a little bit behind than others and don't see where I'm going with this, the next question I decided to ask AI was, could you explain why mood regulation is correlated with neurogenesis? I gave AI that prompt. AI responded. The intricate relationship between neurogenesis and mood regulation is a complex one, but several key factors contribute to this correlation. The hippocampus, the central hub. The hippocampus, often called the mood center, is the brain region that's crucial for memory and learning. It is also deeply involved with mood regulation. It's a neurogenesis hotspot. The hippocampus is one of the primary areas where neurogenesis occurs. Let's focus on the third point. They give other points, so I'm going to focus on the third point. Stress and depression. Neurogenesis inhibition. Chronic stress often linked to depression. Chronic stress often linked to depression can inhibit neurogenesis. Negative feedback loop. Reduced neurogenesis can further contribute to depressive symptoms, creating a negative feedback loop. Then it goes on to other points. It talks about antidepressants and neurogenesis. Neurogenesis boost. Many antidepressants have been shown to increase neurogenesis, supporting the link between the two. While that's true, that is true. That's the purpose of antidepressants, but it has a lot of side effects, which is why I personally, someone who suffers from ADHD, did not want to take that. But let's go into the topic of this video. The topic of this video is called "You're depressed because you stopped learning." And a lot of people aren't really able to kind of like synthesize or just what it would call deconstruct these concepts, right? So like you might find yourself trying to do these new experiences, try these new things, and do a lot of these very explorative behaviors. And this is literally a survival mechanism that your brain is attempting to do, because we as a human being need to have new experiences. Why? Because who we are is highly interconnected with the the neurons that are in our brain, the new synapses, the new experiences that we crave as human beings. Somewhat connected to the video that I made yesterday about the spiritual self and how we need to evolve. What a very important aspect of that, a very important step in that evolution, is creating new neurons in your brain, learning new things, right? So how many of you are continuing to learn? How many of you are actually going out your way to learn new things? You don't have to do, you don't have to basically travel across the world, or, the whole point is that there is a high correlation between mood regulation and learning new things. And it allowed me to introspect and really look at my own life, and how when I really, in my own way, put myself out there to learn new things, that's when I was the happiest and my mood regulation was the strongest. But it's when I enter these negative feedback loops, or when I stop learning that I'm into these negative feedback loops, is when we start seeing a neurotic cycle present itself. There's a strong correlation between people who are active, who are excited and put themselves out there to learn new things. These people have a better chance of withstanding depression, neurodegenerative diseases such as the ones they've listed, such as Alzheimer's, Parkinson's. Think about how many of us really understood this information. Think about how many people actually took the time to learn about this, or if it was even some of you guys are scrolling on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, watching just garbage, and you're never ever gonna get exposed to this type of information. You're never gonna get exposed to this, or you're not connected to the people that will expose this information for you. I'm gonna tell you one thing that I learned a long time ago. You know the saying, "It's not about what you know, it's who you know." But the funny paradox about that saying is that it's who you know that will more oftentimes than not it's who you know which will oftentimes than not expose you to what you don't know. It's who you know which oftentimes than not which will expose you to what you don't know. And if you don't know, you don't know. Guys, it's a serious brain fuck, I'll be honest with you. But you gotta really understand that there is this connection, there is this relationship between, let's just keep it simple, man. Let's just keep it simple. There is a relationship that is a highly correlated relationship between mood regulation, happiness, joy, abundance, experiencing, having the life you really want, you never thought it could be imagined, and health. This is why this point in my life has been really focusing on health. And when you seek, you will find. If you look and you explore, you will find the answers that you're looking for. All right? And I'm here sharing with you a part of my journey, what I'm finding. A lot of times, like, you know, you get on that wave and you feel like, yo, you're really experiencing a really abundant and happy life, and you're really happy with things that's been happening to you. But sometimes people don't understand why. And I think, I honestly believe I am supposed to be like, a part of my purpose is to be this guinea pig for the world to see, like, all right, I'm constantly, this is an internal battle that's manifested outwardly. We're all having an internal battle that's manifesting outwardly, okay? The battle is inner. It has to do with your gut biome. It has to do with the axis between your gut, the brain and gut axis. It has to be with what we eat, what we are exposed to, what we're learning. And like the video, the topic of this, the title of this video suggests, a lot of our depression comes from we have stopped learning. We have falling into monotony. Pay attention to the language I was talking about when I really started going into, like, touching on these topics. I notice in my own personal cycle that I really become depressed when I fall into the monotony of things, when I stop learning. The monotony means like the redundant, day-to-day, 1 + 1 is 2. 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 And we keep doing that every day. 1 + 1 is 2. 1 + 1 is 2. And I'm understanding that, okay, I know 1 + 1 is 2. And just because I know 1 + 1 is 2, I don't need to erase 1 + 1 is 2 to find out 2 + 2 is 4. Follow me, stick with me here, because I'm landing this plane, and those of you who have the patience and really have the patience can stick with this, you might have a epiphany that will just really change the trajectory of your life. If you're anything like me, I realized my vicious cycle was that I hate monotony. I hate doing the same things over and over. I thrive off new experiences. But what essentially that means, give it a moment, loud ass motorbikes. What essentially that means is that I strive to learn. As human beings, we all are designed to learn. If you aren't happy right now in your life, ask yourself, when's the last time you learned something? When's the last time you picked up a book and learned something? There's only a couple things, there's only a few ways that as a human being you can learn something. It's either you pick up a book and you read it, or you throw yourself out in there in the world and you learn it and you experience it. There's only 2 ways. Bring it back to language learning. There's only 2 ways. You either pick up a book and you read to learn the language, no matter what language that is, whether it's the language of the markets, the language of human to human interaction, whether it's the language of computer, human to computer interaction, whether it's artificial intelligence, whether it's learning how to program qubits, quantum computing, or whether it's I'm gonna buy a ticket and go to a place that I have no experience. My input has never smelled these smells, has never seen this type of information, and your brain is a machine that is either expanding or contracting. It's not staying the same. If you're not learning new things, if you're not exposing yourself to new information, if you're not striving to learn, to be better, to do better, you're going to degenerate. It's a very, how do I say this? The word that comes to mind is linear, but it's not really linear. It's not linear at all. You have to learn, guys. And this information should have been taught to us, but it's not. Okay, it should have been taught to us, but it's not. At the end of the day, you are just a body to do a certain job, to do a certain task, live your 75, 80 years and die. Next. If you're really being honest, that's how it's looked at. And it's only a few people that can really understand that, right? Who really ask the why questions. Why is things the way they are? And I believe that how I would want to make my contribution to society is kind of like asking these provocative questions in the realm of mental health and mental fitness, so that people can really start looking inward and ask themselves, okay, what loop have they been caught in for the past year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? You're in a negative feedback loop and you have nothing to check that, because you've isolated yourself. You lived in a bubble. You're in this kind of self-protected bubble, and you have no kind of, and anytime someone on the outside in is trying to probe you or try to stick your bubble and threatens your bubble, you protect it for whatever reason. You shut it out. You don't want any outside information that threatens your safe bubble. But it's at an expense. It's at your own risk. It's at the risk of vitality of life. It's at the risk of real joy and happiness that everybody has access to if they had this information. If they knew that that they are required. Your body, your vehicle requires actual physical activity. I don't care if it's walking. Your body physically requires physical activity. That is a high correlation between happiness and your brain experiencing these chemicals. By the way, our mood, which I'm talking about here, and we're talking that's related to neurogenesis, mood regulation is all just chemicals. When you feel happy, it's from a chemical. When you want to do things that make you feel happy, make you feel safe, when you want to eat that favorite food, when you want to go bust that nut, when you want to go see that girl, when you want to go, call a loved one, a family member, it's all chemicals that's being sent to the brain. This is what's important, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, it's this. This is what's controlling your life, from the left to the right, to the front to the back. This is how you experience your life. Okay? This is how you experience reality. This is how you perceive reality. Okay? How are you currently perceiving reality? Are you perceiving reality that everybody's out to get you? Everybody's out to get you. Everybody's, there's people hiding, plotting to get you. Are you experiencing reality, looking through reality through a lens? While life is really abundant, I'm really excited for today. There's so many possibilities that can happen today. I am so thrilled and honored and grateful to be able to wake up, breathe fresh air, say hi to my loved ones, because tomorrow's not promised. And the important thing I wanted to mention with that, no matter which side you're on, you're right. No matter which way you perceive life, you are right. And you will perceive life exactly how you see it. Because I heard a saying one time, and it's so true. Life is not coming at you, but life is coming from you. Okay? Life is not coming at you, it's coming from you. And if you want to change these perceptions, it requires learning. It requires trying new things, learning different aspects of yourself through either reading, which is a form of learning, or experiences. The best form is experiences. I don't want to harp on too long, but guys, depression, sadness, sully, all these things are correlated to the biochemistry that's currently happening. You're eating shit processed food, my guy. Like, what else do you expect? You're eating Doritos for breakfast. You're eating Ben & Jerry's for dinner. Your diet, you are nutrient deficient. You lack the a lot of people don't even know this. We as human beings have a specific nutritional minimum that we're supposed to have every day. We're supposed to have a specific nutritious, a specific nutritional value of iron, of these certain like iron, like we're supposed to have iron. We're supposed to have like these. Look into these stuff, man. Look into it. I'm learning as I'm sharing it with you. Okay. So that's why I'm able to just, I'm not here to say I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm just someone else that's in the system that's learning about these things that I feel like every human being should have the right to know these things, the right to know thyself, at least the tools to know thyself, right? We're not just cattle to just work every day. Like, who's exploring these topics? And if you are exploring these topics, who's actually sharing it and saying like, okay, look here. I'm not holding myself out to be some kind of mental health expert. I'm someone who is suffering from ADHD and other mental health illnesses. And I've seen firsthand how these same antidepressants keep people in this, in a way, it keeps people dependent and relying on it. Yeah, it does have an effect. It does have a positive effect. But like, if you stop taking those medications, right, or those medications doesn't become available to you, then what? And you just quite frankly become a vegetable. I don't even call it a vegetable, because a vegetable, at least you have a life. You become like this bone, this withering bone that just doesn't have any kind of ability to think or operate with yourself. Like, you just become, it's a sad case, man. So that's it for this video, man. Understand that depression, mood regulation, happiness, all these things are connected to your lifestyle and what you eat and and if you're learning. Your brain thrives on neurogenesis. Just like how your body needs to be physically active, you need, as a human being, you need to constantly be learning. You need to learn a new language. You need to learn a new topic, expand your world. Your world is so narrow and small of what you know. You just know what you're exposed to every single day. The same monotony, the same. No wonder your life feels so dark and it feels so dull, because you're not learning, you're not exposing yourself to new information, you're not interacting with new people. I'm gonna tell you something, man. I have always had an inclination where I've always befriended everybody, and I think that's just I'm lucky to have that kind of personality where I'm just open like that. But what if I didn't? Like, what if I really, like, I'm an introvert, but what if I didn't have that type of personality where I just, like, just befriended everybody, just had a conversation? I find it so intellectually rewarding to have a conversation with a complete stranger, because that is like a little EXP points I get in my brain. It's like a little dose of dopamine. Like, okay, I just learned something. I guess, neurotically, or, in terms of neurogenesis, I am now someone new than I was just a moment ago, because the Frankie I was a moment ago didn't know that information. Something to think about, guys. If you're feeling sad, if you're feeling depressed, ask yourself what's changing, because depression doesn't just go away because you pray it away. You don't pray depression away. You don't hope depression goes away. Okay? Sorry, it's just the facts. Okay? I know people who are just stuck in that kind of like religious bubble. Again, it's a bubble. You can have a religious bubble. It's just a bubble. It's a bubble. We all can make our own bubble. Atheists can have their own bubble. The whole point is that at the end of the day, mental health is correlated with your physical health, your biological health, your brain health. And if you're not learning, your brain is degenerating, your body's constantly degenerating, and you have to fight for it. It's not gonna happen any other way. You have to grow. It's your responsibility. This is what they don't tell you. Peace.